The ultimate question for anybody that's ever experienced the outpouring of God is, how do you stay here? How do you remain in the outpouring? How do you remain in the outpouring? I can tell some of you have no hunger to know the answer to that. But some of you are desperate to know the answer to that. How do you remain? One of the marks of you really having had an encounter is the level of price that you are willing to pay to stay in it. If you're not willing to pay an extremely high price to stay in an outpouring of the Spirit, it's probably an indicator that you've not really experienced one. Because the common thread that ties everybody together that's ever had a genuine collision with the goodness of God is they live their lives to stay in a place of ongoing encounter. And so one of the ways that you're going to stay out of the trap of religion is to be desperate enough to do whatever it takes to sustain a lifestyle of outpouring. How do you know if you're full? You're running over. You can't pray for infilling and then ask God to stop right before it gets messy. That's a revelation. I don't even know if I should waste that on these people that look half interested in what I'm saying. How do you know if you're full? The only way to fully determine if you're full is to notice if what's in you is getting on the things around you. If it's not affecting anything around you, if it's not affecting anybody around you, if you're supposed to have the same Spirit that raised Christ Jesus from the dead and you're not making a mess somewhere, then it's a good indicator that you stopped somewhere short of overflow. We've got to live beyond a manageable measure. Are you making a mess? Are you making a mess, or are you incognito? Are you able to blend? Because the intention of God was to get people so full that they had no choice but to manifest beyond themselves. Elijah is taken up into heaven in a whirlwind in a chariot of fire. There's some stuff in here. You don't need to go watch Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Get a Life, read the book. So, taken up with a chariot of fire into a whirlwind, and there's a group of people standing on the hillside called the sons of the prophets who were following at a distance. We are spinning our wheels on a treadmill called performance in the church because we are not willing to walk closely enough to determine and discern what God's doing in our day. You'd quit wasting your time with nonsense. You wouldn't spend the next 5 years in the same compromise you spent the last 5 years in if you'd get close enough to God to recognize this is no time for foolishness and game playing and dead religion and for you to keep dabbling in the things of this world. It is time for a fear of the Lord, holiness revolution to begin to come to the house of God so that we can make a crooked path straight, a high place low, and a low place high. Jesus is coming, and somebody better make the world ready. These people following from a distance after Elijah is taken up, they can't see what happened because they're walking too far away. So they come to Elisha and they said, they come to Elisha and they said, we need to go look for Elijah. They said, we want to go look for him. He said, then go look for him. They came back and said, we couldn't find him. He said, okay. Here's my question. Double is standing in front of them and they leave double to go look for half. Double is standing in front of them and they leave double to go look for half because they're more comfortable with the half they're familiar with, even if the half they're familiar with is only half as powerful as the double they've never seen before. It's right now. Get this. There, for those that will stay in an encounter with double, beyond familiar capacity, those that will refuse to be 3/4 full and point at the Baptist church down the road and say, I thank God I'm not half full like them. This is the spiritual pride that has eroded the inheritance of the Spirit-filled church. We have prided ourselves in having a little bit more than somebody else. And the Spirit of the living God is here tonight to tell you, if you're not running over, you're not full. If you're not making a mess, you're not full. If the people in your home are not getting splashed on, then you're not full. If the people on your job are not getting a little bit of what's in you on them, then you are not full yet. And God is looking for a group of people that will stand in the glory of God and say, fill me up, fill me up, fill me up.